will see a counter start.
Okay.
And that means we're
Okay.
so
We are not alone.
Hear ye, hear ye. Welcome to Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady and You Are the Bunch. As the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and alternate universe. Serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972.
for God's sake.
Please support the reading by enjoying food and drink served here and give Teddy a hand.
A hand.
Give him money.
Hear that?
Support him. Number 2, poetry of all kinds, ladies and gentlemen, is welcome, but we ask you to respect the mic.
mic.
Keep conversations to a whisper.
Or mute.
Put phones on mute or step on them, break them, throw them out the door. Call waiting, vibrate, or let the phone vibrate. Do not distract the speakers or the amplifiers. Or the bass guitar.
What?
Do not pass in front of them or in back of them, or certainly do not pass through them. 3,
Wait, do
remember.
not pass go and collect $200.
Okay.
But I'm interrupting the speaker. So
Actually, I
shut up.
collected an extra $100 today. I got a Christmas bonus. I was a good boy. Anyhow, remember, keep to the time limit, which is 17 days. No, which is 4 or 5 minutes, because we have to have 2 shows: the 7-ish, the 8:40-ish. And the 8:40-ish often comes with a little oobleck. And going long cuts someone else's time. So don't go long.
Be advised.
You know, take the pass in the flat and then go and run with it. We get everyone on the mic, like angels on the head of a pin. Sacred's longest standing tradition. Angels on the head of a pin. Poets on the head of a mic. If you want to be in the loop, going to Chicago, sorry, but I can't take you. We've been upped in email list, see one of the hosts, and if you see one of the hosts, do not throw dead tomatoes at it. A Facebook page, and we stream live, yeah, baby, thanks to Mr. Natural. See the URL, see the USA, see the URL on the wall. See it there? There. Where? There. You can view in from home. Family or friends can see you live, or later on if you want to hear so-and-so, Sammy so-and-so, Jackie so-and-so, Eddie so-and-so, Edna so-and-so. Again, you want to hear the poem again? Why, you can. Want to do a self-critique? You liar, you don't want to do a self-critique. I don't see anybody here wants to do a self-critique.
I do.
Okay, we have one fool. If you really want to, then you've got to wear your hair like Dan. Okay. And it is a way to put out the word, yours, mine, ours, minutes, seconds, and eras. Eras. Ongoing theme. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, Margaret. Me, Margaret, where are you now that we need you? The evening's theme is...
Hell.
Hell.
Hell?
Right before hell, as opposed
Hell?
to heaven.
As opposed to heaven.
Hell. Oh, hell. Oh, wow. Gee. Also, next week's feature will be...
Hold on, let me just check that.
I will let you check
it
that.
Won't be next week. It'll be January.
Oh, it'll be the new year. Next week's feature will be a little baby in a diaper, the new year.
January 15th, Sally Love Saunders' 80th birthday.
The 15th, we're off for 3 weeks?
Yes,
Ouch.
that's what I said.
The keynote is...
Tonight's keynote is Rob. No, keynote is Guy. Then Rob is the last word. Alexander is the feature. Mini feature is Robert Rubino.
And who is the keynote?
Keynote is Guy.
Guy. Oh, okay.
Guy or you?
And as to the second show, the last word will be what you just said.
Rob.
The mini feature is...
Robert Rubino.
Okay. We have fabulous door prizes.
Let me just go those really quickly. Noam Chomsky, Power and Terror. In case you're interested.
Ooh, yeah.
This is
To know him is to love him.
Britannia by Daphne du Maurier.
Wow.
A Place in the World Called Paris by Stephen Barclay. I don't know Stephen. Didn't come to my party last week, so
Oh,
it to me.
poor guy.
And then this is the New Census Anthology Contemporary American Poetry, edited by Kevin A. Gonzalez and Lauren Shapiro. I'm looking for the date.
Any clothes?
No, actually.
2012, Dan. Dan, 2012.
2012. Well, it says 2013.
All right.
2013. And then, of course, last but not least, don't buy green bananas. You can buy them, actually, but it's advising you not to. And then this last thing, just so you know, The Poetry Society National Poetry Competition Winners Anthology of 2018. Notes for Clara's show, theatrical production, and then where are the cards? I have those cards. Oh, these are other things that are non-book or material related. Being a co-pilot.
Co-pilot. Mini feature.
Ed Rush and George.
It's got it upside down. Theme, choose the theme. It's a meme, the last word, and the keynote.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome, dear.
Anytime.
Be advised, although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to do so, please ask permission. We will assume you've done so. We conclude by 9:50. This is Teddy's deadline when we take to the street, and then we just... Now look what you've done, I'm melting! So, okay. Keynote. Oh, first Martin. Martine.
Oh, Martin, with an announcement.
Martin has a quick announcement.
And the sandwich. Don't forget the sandwich.
Jump
Oh,
in.
I'll get them.
Sandwich.
Sandwich.
I'll do the sandwich.
He'll do the sandwich.
Good evening, Sacred Grounds. So just before loading myself into the car to get over here, we watched the U.S. House of Representatives vote for impeachment, Articles 1 and 2, 230 to who cares how many Republicans. So I would like to acknowledge this with humble gratitude towards Country Joe McDonald by leading a cheer. Give me an I. Give me an M. Give me a P-E-A. Give me a C-H. What's that spell? What's that spell? What's that spell? Well, come on, all you congressmen. Uncle Sam needs your help again. Donald Trump's in a whole lot of pain over what he did in old Ukraine. So sit down yourself and take off your coat. It's time for an impeachment vote. And it's 1, 2, 3. What are we voting for? I'm going to kick him out the door. Make him live out amongst the poor. And it's 5, 6, 7. We're going to have a Senate trial. It'll go on for a while. We're going to do it all up in style. Well, there ain't no time to wonder why. Whoopee, we all hope he fries. Woo! Let the games begin.
I'm going to do the sandwich. Make sure I'm framed there. Just one more thing before we get to the keynote. Thank you. That was great. When you told me what it was, I didn't understand it, but as soon as I saw it, that's very good. Someone should do that. Okay, so someone needs to give me a number from 1 to 5. 4 is the first one I heard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have a number 25 on the list?
Oh,
Hello, list?
list is with
Is there 20? Is there a name next to number 25?
No.
How about number 20?
Yeah.
Who?
Beth.
Beth. Beth is a sandwich winner.
Someone else can have it. I passed it.
No, you have to give it a money here. It's money taken. All right, and the next one. These are the last two of this whole collection of sandwich envelopes that was given to me by Jack Foley. Another number from 1, 2, or 3.
3.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Pick me.
Number 7.
You missed me.
I know. I missed me too. I'm number 10. I never get nothing.
7 is Tommy.
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 Tommy McCormick.
Eat him up, Tommy.
Congratulations, you are now a winner. All right. We'll be giving a round of applause for our keynote. Guy, come on up here, kick us off. We'll kick you off. Hold on a second. I'm going to put this down here.
You're doing adjusting the mic.
Jump in, guys.
Yeah. Just got to make sure it's on. There we go. All right.
Thank you.
Yay, Guy. Do the hair flip.
That's perfect.
In honor of tonight's theme, hell, plastic Jesus.
Oh, I love that.
Ed Rush, George Marty. Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
I don't care if it rains or freezes, as long as I've got my plastic Jesus sitting on the dashboard of my car. Comes in colors pink and pleasant, glows in the dark 'cause it's iridescent. Take it with you when you travel far. Get yourself a pink Madonna dressed in rhinestones, sitting on a pedestal of abalone shell. Going 90, I ain't scary, 'cause I've got the Virgin Mary assuring me that I won't go to hell.
I love that song.
Joseph?
Oh,
And after Joseph is Brett.
where's the pen?
Okay, hold on, I'm trying to get this recorded. I'm sorry, just a second here.
Guy. Put the guy's name in the song. Oh, that's me.
It wasn't a country joke, John?
Yeah.
All right,
Well, I don't know. if you
happy
wrote it.
Wednesday night, everyone.
Hello.
Good old San Francisco. Good to see y'all, as always. We keep the theme rolling right along.
Hell.
We keep the theme rolling right along. High crimes and misdemeanors. Our president is a farmer of hate, planting the seeds of division, where what his lies will create. Constantly trusting deception as a means to keep all in the dark. He speaks with the tongue of a serpent, as doubles speak masks what is stark. Those who believe in their ego, confusing it as holy and true, because they can't see the picture, will do as the devil bids them to do. Some pay or some praise is all that's required for the cause of his authority. How much more time we got? What do I got for time?
We're at 1 minute and 49.
They elected an egomaniac to be the head of our great land. The dangers of his arrogance they chose to not understand. The Proverbs warn us wisely that pride precedes a fall, but the short-sighted wanted privilege, forgetting earth is still a ball. If we can't thrive together, we will perish in the end. Even if the great ear tickler is thought to be a friend. Greed has been rewarded and given military might, while those who have been fooled by him dismiss their need for fright. Hitler was a hero to those made wealthy by his ways, but despite their years of glory, karma's pendulum repays. Hallelujah for all those who stood up within all the hearings of Congress to stand up for humanity, stand up for decency, and boldly be against the deception, the doublespeak, the guilt that is just permeating now from the White House. So God bless you all. You know, we're in for a rough road though, because poets aren't taken too lightly in times of tyranny. So just be ready for that and know that it's in times of darkness that we have to shine. So this ain't no drill. It's on.
Brett, and after Brett is Andrew.
So, how Brett? Just check. Thank you so much. That looks good.
Okay, hell.
CRA?
Hell, another leaflet. An emphatic flame-licked word. Hell no, I won't go. Hell's bells.
Bells, bells.
Hell in a handbasket. Hell in the hereafter. Wait a minute. Look here first. Kids in cages. What's the number today? Trump lined up with the world's oppressors and signing on to indiscriminate drone bombings. We didn't stop that today, by the way. The petty fascist and racist bullshit being foisted on us from the top down. hell before our own eyes, hell touching us. I remember the seldom trips to church when I was a kid, the interminable sermons, all hellfire and brimstone, from well-fed preachers enjoying the brimstone. While my dad and I squirmed in our seats for different reasons. And Mom, the lady who brought us there, faked a beatific smile enjoying the heated rhapsody. Sunlight through the pretty windows, soothing the untampered words. Have you noticed that Dante's elaborate hell was a portrait of goings-on in his hometown, not fabricated mythology? And that our current hell, marks of weakness, marks of woe, is a product of ignorance, evasion, obliviousness, and bewilderment. Peace Warrior, an obituary. A quick look at the life of Larry Guerra, once known as the 90-pound anarchist, who died at 97 on November 23, 2019. A story not told in the New York Times. Larry was a writer, historian, jazz fan, anarcho-pacifist, and bird watcher. His book on baby Dodds showed the strength, mind, and sanity of a great pioneer drummer. His book, Liberty Line, debunked the myth of paternalism that clouded the history of the Underground Railroads. Not just signal quilts and offered sanctuary, but often the courage and fortitude of the fugitives themselves, their knowing which star pointed north, their individual desire for freedom, and their undertaking long journeys to achieve it. Think even now of the darkness of the American night and the distances traveled. Larry Guerra did time in federal prisons during the Second World War for refusing to kill, often tossed in the hole, fighting discrimination and prison stupidity. And after the war, he did another 18 months for counseling a war resister, trumped up charges, interrupting his teaching career and marriage. In 1962, he was fired from the Grove City College, a famous case in the fight for academic freedom. And in 2015, the president of that school came to his house to apologize, 53 years late. Larry claimed to have mellowed out in later years, picking and choosing when and where he committed civil disobedience, but not abandoning his belief in nonviolent direct action. Bantam rooster, shit disturber, tapping his feet to a 2-beat drum, was still giving jazz appreciation classes just a few years ago, and taking early rising friends on bird-watching hikes. Insouciant warrior, no, I don't mean uncaring, I mean lighthearted and determined.
Andrew?
All right. Did you go? Hey, hey. Yeah, hey. How's it going? Well, I like to say, starting off, don't get offended if I call anybody idiot because, hey, I'm 50% idiot and I'm looking for my smart half. But, you know, I might have found it, so I like to say, you know, just to start off, per every cent this represent, I can change for the good. Per every cent this represent, I can change for the good. Per every cent this represent, I can change for the good. Per every cent, 50, per every cent this represent percent, I can change for the good. Per every cent this represent, I can change for the good. And so basically to start that off, fucking idiots. So I just see here. Yeah, basically
This is to going out to very specifically for, I guess, the theme, maybe, I don't know, to the Franciscan Order and whoever else seems to care. I'm going to start off reading a little expert at random from the Merriam Dictionary off of the internet regarding the term, which may link up to health. Stigma. Stigma, word for today. Let's see here. In Greek and Latin, did you know? In Greek and Latin, a stigma was a mark or brand, especially one that marked the slave. So a stigma marked the person as inferior. When the plural for stigmata is used, stigmata is used, this usually refers to the nail wounds on Christ's hands and feet. Wounds which have sometimes reappeared on the hands or feet of later worshippers, such as St. Francis. When stigma began to be used in English, it usually meant a kind of mark or stain that you can actually see. So today we hear about the stigma of homelessness, the stigma of overweight, and the stigma of mental illness. All, for example, at random from the Merriam Dictionary. And so, with that being said, for every cent this represents, I can change for the good. And I'm going to close with a poem. It's called Algorithma. Darkness shone for the light of thee. Look forth to the grounds that bury me. For every cent, I can change for the good. For every cent, I can change for the good. Look forth to the grounds that bury me. And stump for thee. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, back to B, middle 8, 7 days, unto 9, AXI. Back and forth. For the fasting key, for C. A, B, A, B, A, B, A, C. Cut clarity, color, carrot. 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 Clarity, color, carrot. Cut clarity, color, carrot. Cut clarity, color, carrot. Cut clarity, color, carrot. Cut clarity, color, carrot. For every cent, this has changed for the good. For every cent, I can change for the good. For every cent, this can change for the good. For every cent, this can change for the good. For every cent, this can change for the good. Cut clarity, color, carrot. 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 Clarity, carrot. Clarity, color, carrot. Cut 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 clarity, color, carrot.
Who's next?
Owen Dunkel and then Karen.
All right. Oh, okay, I see what and then Guy comes back after Karen, right? Okay.
Yeah, Owen.
All right, as he comes up. All right. Here we go.
Thank you.
Baby. Yeah.
Okay, this is my latest poem. Oh, thank you. Double or nothing, that is the way it should be. Grist strife hard as they come, the way I do not want. Scum and wealthy, it should be all the same to me, and ball around, it would not be the same. Kid and old timer, gray and blue, sane and insane, soul and the source of it all.
Oh, what's the use? Babble and dabble. It winds up the ends and means for the hand to break. That's all it takes. Phoebus, words tumbled from my mouth into the sea, fighting like larks in the midst of a maven of romance. I fall in love at every glance with each and everything I meet, and fall sideways as I have fallen before, and will continue to fall again into an eternal song of innocence. On the beach, I walk by three pretty virgins, slide beside and plays his flute as a tattooed lover musician immerses himself, washes his hair completely in the ocean. I take off my shoes. Cold salt water washes my feet for the first time in years. Dave Hansen freaked out, went nude in the ocean after drinking with me. Beer after beer in the beach chalet, after midnight under the moon of drunken dark Neptune. Orb, that ball of fire the sun walks by the sky. My mind sidesteps the small charging minotaur of pleasure. Sunday quiet as a tombstone goes back and forth like a doomsday rock, washed over by the waves as flies hug and hover piles of seaweed. Midday plods by like a mule with sun-drenched, contented blinders. Venus in Scorpio. I dream of the perfect romance. Love fail as a metaphor in the queer quiet of the Library Sea, in the timid streets of the quiet blush of symphonies, cinemas, flowers, wandering like a lovesick drunk dawn under the moon, sitting quietly through the cunning roisterings of the burghers of rhyme, pretending to be alive, walking towards the nine pins calling the cattails, each poem like a literary voyage, setting out to the brawls at a local tavern. In the suns he dreams of gentlemen, dueling in her honor, dueling in her honor. Cinco de Mayo. An electric wail sighs through the wall. Triumphant pizzicato travels like a snake along the traffic, parks up to the quiet ghost of a different muse. Cupid's lips arise to the dance of flashing flamenco heels. Shout olé, senors y senoritas, in the smoking quiet of the lateness of the afternoon, of the torpid sullen flamenca, passing into the lateness of the cobra-like carlings, into the suffering evening. Senoritas, throw a rose from your lace mantilla to the cold gaze of the matador. Muleta poised under his chin, and the hot afternoon bull ring, bowing and scraping for a kill.
Thank you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you very much.
Karen? And after Karen is Guy.
And after Karen, Guy coming back.
After Karen is Guy.
Yes. Coming back.
And coming back.
That's close
Yeah, I
to
like
forward.
that.
And this is, I recommend that coming, this is great. I actually got here shortly after Sharon was here. I mean, I really got here early. And David was here. I mean, it was amazing. And I have to understand the protocol. Actually, I love lines. You can get to know people when you're in a line, and then the line dissolves. So anyway, I'm learning. But this is, oh, I'm going to leave this with anybody. This is Human Rights for Palestinian Children Living Under the Israeli Military Occupation Act. So anybody who would like this tells you more about it. Things fall out of the deciduous. All right. Autumnal rain. The window pane is blurred with sudden drops, skating across a vertical pond bounded by slats framing nature's wetness. Broken clouds evaporate into white silk, pillowing a city scene of homes and drying trees. Crisp leaves grip valiantly on stiff limbs, accepting damp rain as we too cling tight to autumnal seasons, accepting damp gifts, accepting the last spooling of time, evaporating slowly into memory.
Lovely.
I'm going from back to front, sort of like Asian, Chinese, whatever. I'm gonna start reading from my funny little books, and then leave them one at a time for Dan to give up with the gifts. Okay. Thoughts on human pollution. Barges float as to a slow dirge through schools of fish, encountering sharks, dolphins, whales, occasionally spewing refuse in their wake. Cars bluster down the street spewing gaseous carbons, arrogantly unaware of their cumulative damage to our fragile planet. Sidewalk stories. Sidewalk cracks tell stories, earthquakes, tree roots pushing against concrete, children chanting rhymes, sidewalks sliding, arguing with the earth below, claiming ownership. Tree roots, rocks, buried memories insistently push against hardened cement, sending grass and flowers up through cracks, demanding access, demanding their rightful inheritance of Earth's surface, free of concrete, free of building blocks, inheritance of soil and water, land and air, millions of years of ownership, breathing through sidewalk cracks, telling stories.
All right.
I think that's it. Isn't that it? Can I go time for one more little one? I have 2.5 minutes. Wow, I've never known. All right, and this is in honor of
He knows what he's doing.
David's comments on nano, on little things. It seems to me you made a comment.
Nano.
So I looked for my Nano Chips poem, and now I can't remember what you said, but you know.
Might have been somebody else.
I can't remember what I said.
You can't remember.
What did you say?
What'd you say?
What?
Nano chips. Nano chips are like angels. How many nanos can dance on the head of a pin? Maybe that was you. Anyway, nano chips or strips can power anything. Perhaps change the course of human events, like angels. We might send out nano strips per post, tracked in nano digits, or send them out with carrier pigeons. We can swallow nano chips and let them map our bodies, coursing through our arteries, monitoring our wellness or illness, like magic, pushing through one last pore, depositing themselves at last in our hats like rabbits, too tiny to see, yet still a bit of magic.
Nice.
This one, thank you very much. This is just tiny, and I'll read the last. And it's called Harmony, and it has a lot to do with my own husband and his love of harmony in the ocean and the seas and saving sand and wanting nature to balance itself out, the dynamics of nature. Harmony. Ask the sand if it is free to fill the beach. The waters if they freely carry sand, the air if all its winds blow free, and sunshine if it lights the earth in harmony. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna give this to Dan to give away at the end of the
Guy.
Up to for tonight?
Yeah. My favorite poem in there is plastic. It's
Okay,
about the
who's
fourth
next?
poem.
Guy, and then
It's
Tom.
I am a piece of plastic. That's
And
my
then
favorite.
this one hasn't shown
Well, I
up.
hope I win. And if I don't, I'm still gonna get the damn picture.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll
I
call his
sell them
name.
for $1 too.
Okay. I have $1.
And guys coming back, the person who does the keynote always comes back to do their own thing, just so people say, how did you get it 2 times? How did you get 2 times? That's why. Was that rude?
So this is a piece of micro prose, and it's called What We Call Forever. I hear the cry at 3 a.m. and I go upstairs to be with our old cat. I stroke his cheek, he lifts his head, his eyes adjusting to the living world, having been staring at death. He's going, and I'm here with him, here in this final note, a single cry. And I stroke him, so he knows he's not alone. And maybe this is all we can do, the two of us, waiting together on the living room floor. Wind picks up on the water. The ramp from the dock to our houseboat moans. Wood stairs creak, and I'm thinking, what did I expect? That we would live forever? Maybe this is forever. Whatever forever is. How many stories have I written with him across my lap? And now this one, he at my feet, unable to make the leap. When things happen to me in this life, I often realize midway through that I've already written about them. Not exactly, but metaphorically, which is what counts in the big picture. Not line breaks or through lines or craft aesthetics itself, not very aesthetic as words go. But metaphor, sweet symmetry, understanding. 30 years ago, I published my first story, What They See When They're Dying, in Alchemy magazine at San Francisco State.
Wow.
Who knows if the magazine is still around? I hope so. But that story still is. A story about being with a friend whose cat, also a tabby, is dying. That friend Doris is long gone, her cat Dorothy as well, and now our little bud is departing. And I'm living that story once more. Someday it'll be my turn, and someday it'll be yours. Maybe this is what is meant by everlasting. We write the stories, we live the stories. We live the stories we write once more with feeling. Maybe this is what we call forever.
Nice.
Hard to beat cats.
I'm calling back up.
Almost.
Sometimes you have no choice.
I know.
You should pass out dishes with them.
No, it's Tommy. Yeah. I told him to stop.
Whatever.
Hi, Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy, have a
hello.
phone nickel?
Hello. 'Twas the night before Xmas, and all through the house one creature was stirring, clicking his mouse. The stockings were hung, all filled with new dough, in the hopes that Saint Nick had dirt on old Joe. His wife was all best, asleep in her bed. I don't give a damn really danced in her head.
Jesus.
When out, it's just the truth. I'm just telling you the truth.
It's channeling, man. It's okay.
When out on the roof there arose such a sound that he stopped with his tweets and looked all around. He raced to the window and slipped on a fry. He couldn't get up, and there he did lie. He heard on the roof a thunderous roar. It wasn't a rally or a white power tour. Maybe a migrant who scaled his great wall, or Pelosi coming to have a big brawl. He heard a great thud in the chimney nearby. It must be Saint Nick, he heard himself cry. But the man who emerged wasn't bearded or fat. He was shirtless and blonde and without a red hat. I bring you glad tidings, the Russian man said. Keep doing my bidding and your states will be red. Then he emptied the stockings and went on his way, saying, Merry Pissmas to you and have a great day.
Molto bene!
Sì. Cierto. Somebody had to say it, right?
Right, somebody.
It was just...
You're doing so well.
Thank you.
Oh.
The hell with rainy days that never end. The hell with winter that doesn't relent. The hell with death that takes my friends and leaves rain and winter in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that time of year. This is dedicated to a couple people I know, but one person in particular. It's called Gender Blur. I love blurring, leaving shadows of things in my wake. Like that nude descending the stairs, I'm fully exposed. People can't see the nakedness. They imagine I'm a mystery. I couldn't be more obvious. I shed gender like a snake. I spin a cocoon when I need to transform. Fluidity is a gift that was stolen from us, beaten out of us, condemned by religion, by social norms that aren't normal. There are more things in heaven and gender than dreamt of in any philosophy. I won't go away to make you feel more comfortable. I've done that in the past. It's time you simply get used to it. Finally, this is something I observed. I often write walking down the street when I see something that really gets to me, and this poem kind of sprung out of me when I saw something on the street the other day. Feet sticking out of the worn blanket on the old torn sofa on the sidewalk next to the dented file cabinet and the large crack screen TV and scraps of things in a cardboard box marked for big item pickup. It's a week before Xmas, and no one seems to notice or care that bare feet are sticking out in the cold morning from a worn blanket. A human being, dead or alive, on a pile of things to be recycled. Oh, I left these here. Actually, Ed brought these in. It's a whole bunch of journals, a gay male journal from Arizona. If anybody wants a free copy, I'll leave them here.
All right.
Nice,
So,
thank you.
if you take a prize, you can take one of those. Just
David E.
David E.
And then the free
Oh, not. And then the free David. Yeah.
Anytime now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This was written by M. Anita Muscara. You remember Anita?
Oh,
M. Anita
yeah.
Muscara.
Great
It's
ankles
called
on that.
Fungy Fun or Damp Bam. Decay, decay, and on this day, the mist occludes the waterway. Trickle, tinkle, warble, seep. Awake mycelium from deep sleep. The ground is soaked, the earth is wet. Spores encased in egg, not yet have broken through. Leaves shingles on its cap, its roof, or annulus around its throat, a necklace lest it swell and bloat, absorbing pebbles at its base, within tree trunk a web of lace. Through duff, through crust, through rim, through edge, phallic thrust or sweet floret, alkaline ingest and die, as scorpic visions fire cry to puke your guts or just get high. Is mushroom just the evil eye, or protein gone slightly awry?
Nice.
Thank you.
Alive. But not a week.
Workshop, where street vendor pulls sky from stone, where metal, and metal all conspire to cursory advantage, where hoops sing, pottery, fires, belts, buckle, clothing, dances, cactus, suckles, an unreal band elects nobody for president, where vendors sing like frogs, where limping Yeah, where limping poets blow painted bubble poems onto people's park walls, where description defies belief, where a cosmic cauldron combines twitches, itches, and witches in a hazy vision of soup kitchen, where diamond dust drains to the bay. Oops, I'm going to need that. Leave it. And shuttles up to Venus as the evening star. Mercado, Mercado, wares for the unwary, magic for the magnificent, and malevolent alike. Step forth, come hither, observe. Street vendor.
Street vendor. I could have gotten that for you.
I got it.
I'm just trying to help out.
Is that what you're
doing? This is called Elvis. Don't be cruel, but with some women you have to be brusque to let them know you're not available. Take that. Rembrandt captured, no, it was Vermeer. Look of longing, wistful note, touch of ermine, snarling stoat. It's by degrees will love increase. Lonely woman, earring, pearl. Oh, visualize when crone was girl. Slip, progression, petticoat, address the dress, sweet breasts that float. Mirror shimmers down by the pool. Undoes her clothes, the water's cool. Captures his gaze, can't look away. Love or just longing, I cannot say. Sorry. Okay. Trying to eat the mic here.
Eat the mic.
Eat that mic.
Eat that mic.
That's expensive.
Couple in couplets. The flawed yet perfect woman comes forth to get her thrill. With poppies and rose petals, her brim I overfill. That's right. Got that right. Here's a haiku. Warblers mimic wind shuddering leaves for insect bonanza.
Nice.
That's right outside my door. It's nice. Okay. I saw a hermit warbler on the Christmas bird count on Sunday. Potential. Bartender, give me an entendre. Make it a double. For my intended. She's well tended. She's not tentative or tenacious. She's just in a holding pattern, flying circles around me. Me, a lucky 10-pin. No tension, no tentacles. I'm supposed to entertain you. You're supposed to write me a new song. Here we are sitting in the back of someone's jalopy, sparking. Oh, that's it. Too bad.
All right. Smart.
Free Radical, Dan Brady.
All right, Free Radical, that's me. That's my nickname is Free Radical. Also, Rubicon, that's my other nickname, Rubicon. All right, so you asked for hell, and I thought of this poem. So I'm going to read this poem, Come Hell or High Water. And you know where I'm going with this, so, you know, just... Title is They Call It. They call it a failed place, a place of dis-ease, a place where no one knows their place anymore, where counting, numbers, and abstractions have become as real as that which is counted, and where they count everything. Then it's denominated even as the sacred, the eternal, has been forsaken of their hearts, forsworn of their souls. Hard as this is to believe, it is all of it true, and still there's more. What seems morally impossible, astonishing, they dismember their network, act to consume it using monstrous creations to dig, break, scorch, or bury their living sphere. Poisons are let to soak into soils which die, as do rivers. So that now, life is leaving a home world, something so incredibly rare as to be unheard of, but it is happening, and in the unlikeliest place. Its beings, obsession with possessions, real and not, have devolved, lost sight, and who, in their rage, extinguish their own kind, make coin from everything that lives, everything that dies. Its own denizens call it bedlam, pandemonium, a chaotic melee of enmity, a place of devouring, ruled over by soulless incorporates which mark everything with cold calculations, where hungry ghosts raise up the dead to worship an eternal evil that then thrives on their godlessness. It is a world of pain, where every joy is a sufferance. Love wilts and their beliefs are not to be believed. This place, vast in abyssal sorrow, harbors more horrors than we can describe, such that all those in the vast, deep reaches of this universe, who feel kindness, know love, who are soulfully connected to the great family, feel this disturbance in the force and have come to know this unique point, this painful rift in the networks of amity. The cries from this place reach to all heaven, into all time, and so to the universes before and yet to come. Such is the inheritance of separation, the yield of irrational, passionate fear, the great bounty of forgetfulness, the ruination of rationality. Some call it the place of regret, others the lost place of ignorance. Some say it is ruined. This is why we, in our trillions of trillions, on the myriads of worlds set in their glittering heavens, have begun a chorale. We sing that this place may be soothed, for love to bloom and peace to hold sway, that the web of life will heal and prosper, and that the great song will return to that strange planet, Earth. How much time do I got? Woo! All right. Thank you. That's hell. Hell to pay. So, this being Christmas time and me be having, now I'm going to clean your palates. Please.
Coffee for everyone.
Coffee. So this is a song, I didn't write these, this is a parody of a song. It's a Christmas song that you'll all recognize. I did not do these words.
You're using up your time.
That's okay, it's a very short song. Here you go. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. You know that song, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the words.
Go ahead.
Lacy things, my wife is missing. I didn't ask permission to try on her clothes, her silk pantyhose, and waltz around in women's underwear. In the store, there's something pretty. It has straps like spaghetti. It holds me real tight, like handcuffs at night, waltzing around in women's underwear. In the office, there's a guy named Melvin. He pretends that I am Murphy Brown. He'll say, let's get ready. I'll say, whoa, man, you gotta wait until the wifey's out of town. Later on, if you wanna, we can dress like Madonna. Put on some eye shade and join the parade. Waltzing round in women's underwear. One more time. Waltzing round in women's underwear. There you go.
Mark knocking.
Kokonos! Mark Kokonos! Hasn't been a long time for Mark!
So I'm only going to do one poem, so there's a little bit of an intro. And just by the way, it's the opposite of the theme tonight. I wrote this piece many years ago sitting right about there with this gentleman sitting next to me. So I thought it was appropriate. And this reading largely inspired this poem. And so I want to take a moment to dedicate it to Steve, to Don, to Carlos, Jehanna, all of you, and the features who keep this open mic going. And since 1972.
Yeah, 72.
Yeah.
That's what they tell me.
And also, since he's not here, quick wish to my favorite, or one of my Greek friend poets, Chris Trion, and in Greek, Phronia Pola, which is happy birthday.
Thank you.
Nice.
Open mic invocation on sacred grounds. Oh, and also, I haven't done this for a while, so that's why I'm doing the cheat sheet. Usually I do it from
It's
memory.
beautiful.
We are gathered here tonight to join together in a community for a few brief hours to express whatever poetry that we may choose. From chronicling our common experience to taking a firm stand on our First Amendment rights to speak freely about all the subjects censored by society. We may use some satire to focus a spotlight on all the foolishness that pretends to be wise, or if we feel like it, we just might bring that beat back to the San Francisco Bay. Yeah. Not some retro fashion of beret-wearing beatniks beating on bongos or raccoon mascaraed cool cat chicks, just in it for the kicks, man, kicks. But rather a poetry born at the point where working class experience and the transcendental intersect, voices blowing out a pure bebop note, ecstatic as the free verse of Whitman, or laying down a backbeat in the harsh lexicon that rises from the street. So whether you chose to perform hip-hop or Homeric verse, read its slams, or write sonnets, step on up to the mic and bring the word into flesh in all its myriad forms. Step up, all you technicians of verse with your well-crafted constructions. Step up, all you seeking solace in a labyrinth of words. Step up, any newcomers in our midst, and we will support that first nerve-wracking read in front of an audience. Step up, all you angry iconoclasts spitting words sharp as nails against all the injustices of life. Step up, all you revolutionaries putting your bodies on the line to fight for a better day. Step up, all you survivors driven to bear witness to the atrocities never viewed by history. Step up, all you wayward travelers recreating far-off lands before the eyes of our mind. Step up, all you true romantics serenading the one that sets your heart aflame. Step up, all you bards of human existence. Step up, all you healers of the invisibly wounded. Step up, all you who raise your voice against the loneliness of the American night.
Also a Greek name. Also a Greek name.
I was gonna plug you in. All right. One of my favorite parts of the evening is to heap praise upon our feature, Alexandra Kostulas, right over there. But give me a moment here.
Oh, you're always good at it.
I know. Beauty is a word. When I say that word, I will bet the 30 or so people here think about 3 or 4 things. That's 120 different meanings that word can take on. Just saying one word. 30 people, 3 or 4 thoughts, a couple of memories. All of a sudden, within about 10 seconds, we're up into the thousands of considerations with one word. Okay? The depth of a single word takes you, can take you. Except for words like the and they don't go anywhere. Just kidding. But Alexandra is a poet of word. There is a beauty in the way she puts words together. The intent behind varies, the purpose varies, but the specific use of language is very interesting to me, and I think you will find that is also true. She covers the bases like many poets do, but she does it in her own unique way. A beautiful writer, a perfect person in terms of letting the voice inside speak. That's my take. You don't mind me saying that?
That's really nice.
All right. So bring her up here with a nice round of applause, Alexandra. And this is our first time here. First time. Forget about that.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Just get really close to the mic, so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you so much for having me. This poem is called The Immigrant. I came from the hard work that almost killed us but didn't, and grit and soil, forged in the fire, I emerged naked and dripping, all guilt and filigree and gold. My spirit hammered out by burning irons, my flesh made smooth by hot coals, my essence channeled into the finest steel, through past heartbreaks, the aching, the disasters, the scattered bones of friendship, Their petty jealousies fall behind me in a comet's tail. I step forward with the bridal train, like my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, each one a healer, a migrant, a magician. I follow in their footsteps, a silver shoe pressing into the moonlight. I forgive the past and kiss my own hand, full, sentient, awake, alive. How lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
To be or not to be, I am. I was carrying death around with me everywhere I went. I held this darkness inside my heart, my mouth, and my eyes. I held this darkness inside my womb. I almost allowed this darkness to swallow me, but somehow, by the ineffable grace, at the last possible moment, I pulled myself up and out, and here I am.
Yeah.
These poems are from a manuscript I'm working on called Becoming Athena, and the theme is about sort of like finding your identity as a strong, empowered woman and becoming an Athena. I'm working with an editor who's my friend of mine, so I'm reading you the edited version that I haven't read out loud before, so it's exciting.
Oh, original piece, eh?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean,
I've read
debut.
the unedited, but yeah. So,
Alright.
this is called Feeding Peanuts to the Birds at Dusk. Peanut shards on the edge of the table, cracking them feels sensuous in my hands, feeling all the broken edges. The dried, cracked husks litter the floor of my mind. I give them to the little birds at twilight, at dawn, the bluebird sparrow, the tiny things that come to beg at the red desk at dusk. I ask the little birds in my dream, what is the meaning of life? Who, they whisper to me and to themselves and to no one in particular, and into the long unkempt grasses over the patchwork of San Francisco zigzag yards and fly away. And this old house that is like a grave, living in the narrow house, frying bacon and eggs for the dead. My grandma died in the same place where we put our TV, right there in her hospital bed. Sometimes at night, I sit in my bed and I feel like I'm being scooped up and slid down into the earth. My grandmother died here. Her body slides down into the earth. Her spirit diffuses like silver molecules in the corner of the room. And I think of all the deaths I experienced. -1, -1, -1, +1. My little boy, full of life and joy, my little silly heart. And I feed the little birds at dusk peanut husks, sitting motionless on the back patio as the frenetic city gets quiet, cold, and dark. Thank you. This one's called The Joy. So I think joy at a time like this can be rebellious sometimes. You know, we live in kind of dark times, so the joy of the joy of the joy of the joy of the joy. To be idle on a Sunday afternoon is divine.
Yes.
Well, these poems are from a section called Emergence. So it's all about emerging from your cocoon. And I just, I'm emerging from my cocoon because I just had a baby 6 weeks ago. So
That's a brave act.
Yes, yeah, a little girl.
It's an affirmation.
Yeah, so I'm just, this is like my first outing into the world, which is great. Yeah,
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Living life on a Saturday afternoon with a long, slow shadow, despite the fact that we are getting old. We love to rub ourselves down to the ends of things, the nubs of crayons, rubbing color on our fingers. Life is best when you use every part of it, when you run yourself ragged until you are out of breath, grind the gears, drinking down the last sip, run down to the bone. Try not to broadcast it on your iPhone, rhyme, or in couplet. Every moment I'm running, love is overwhelming, a dare. My heart is broken into 1,000 tiny sparrows that each soar and sing with love for my little ones who wake up smiling in the dark. sleep cozy and curled up at dawn. The magpies of my heart are numbers, thick and dark and beautiful. I crisscrossed and thatched in places where holes were once. I know this is cliche, but I didn't think I could love this much or that I would ever feel fully alive. A blur of colors, life just a sip too much. Poetry of the finest kind, gilded with sparrows at dawn, diving in rainbow pools of imagination. Kindness dips into the cafe, one door held at a time, for us strangers who saunter in on the corner of a busy residential street. Some people are happy in this world. I never knew them when I was struggling, when all my woes were on my back, scrunching up my shoulders. I still scrunch up my shoulders, but I never used to be happy. My gnarled pain wound itself inside a ball behind my eyes and in my heart, and made me a poet, as I wished myself to be. I let them laugh at and belittle me. I let them pretend like I was crazy, sipping and dipping into rainbow pools of possibility, joyfully consuming breadcrumbs. I am one of the larks now that gets up early. I never used to be happy in this morning, or in any morning. I'm proud of myself for getting through this. I feel alive. I have love inside my heart. I live for something else now. I am excited to wake up every day. I'm no longer dreading everything. I'd like to think that having these babies changed me, proved to me, my child's heart, that there is goodness, that is the miracles sparkling in the distance are not a mirage. This is a poem about death.
Oh, wonderful.
Why not? We're approaching the solstice, right? Yeah. And stars and stars and stars. And even in decay, you are beautiful, are glowing and are reaching and growing towards the stars. A little more each day. Your body disintegrates and you are only eyes left, staring into the dark. And you cross over, putting the ribbon that holds the universe out of its neat bow in a blanket of stars and shining. And you are walking up that crystal stair and stepping across to the place which cannot be seen and which we fear does not exist. And we light candles and we anoint you and we kiss you goodbye. The Creator. I am one of the few who made it to the other side of the great chasm, where life whispers to itself all the ineffable mysteries it was supposed to keep from us. We join the others who have escaped, glistening in the twilight, welcoming in fog. I swallow the sea in one deep breath and plow the earth with my fingers for another breath. I become an animal, succumb to my ineffable mysteries of my life, and years combined in the center between Orion's stars, where galaxies are born. Each piece begins as a puzzle. I work the clay until the meaning reveals itself bit by bit. I am the weaver in an old ramshackle car rambling down Fulton Street towards City Hall on a Thursday afternoon or Tuesday morning. Little birds at dawn eating pieces of my eyes and ears like breadcrumbs, halfway in my head, halfway in existence. From the pen, from the page, I dance with all the bones to sweet Judy blue eyes. My black eyes sparkle in the midnight hush. Grass sweats in the silence of evening. I am alive. I am sentient, defiant of all that tries to pull us apart from the inside. Instead, seeding new creation, one moonwalk at a time, making my place, making impressions in the rock, carving my name in concentric circles that will be there until the end of time. Find me in the twilight hush, in the sounds of the birds calling. In this moment, I know they sing just for me. And if you lean in close, if you let my hot breath linger on your neck, in this moment, they will sing for you too.
Nice.
And then this is a long poem, and I wrote it. I remember when, I think it was a year ago, it was really rainy, and Trump had closed, and the Republicans closed the national parks, and all that like trash piled up around, and especially in like the Presidio and all the trails, like Fort Funston, and people were really mad. And I was at Ocean Beach, and that lookout by the visitor center, and it was all really like trashy. And I had my son was a year and a half, so he was napping, so I felt really like I was listening to Shostakovich, like, because I checked out from the library, and I was like, I want to write poetry because it's my one moment to write poetry. And so I started imagining that what the goddess Athena would be saying if she saw, like, came here to Earth and saw like this bullshit that the Republicans were doing.
Right.
And so I sort of like, and it was to Shostakovich, which was really super intense, so which I hadn't heard before. So I was like writing. I wrote this in my journal. Becoming Athena. How did she get so big, tall and glistening, the goddess? Countless dusty academic good old boys trying to claim her, mistaking the alabaster smoothness of her millennia deteriorated pigment of skin. She came into being one day fully formed, daddy issues, but she faced them, and it made her who she would become. The goddess is not pleased with trash all over the coastal access on a rainy day, weeks into the government shutdown, that she rages a little in my car as the rain beats down and the wind whips and the waves churn like they are about to swallow you. Athena has come into her fullness, warrior goddess, helmet and breastplate, owl on her shoulders, talons digging into her fleshy arm. This Athena, this timeless becoming. I have spent a lifetime learning how not to be silenced. I have spent a lifetime standing on one leg, learning how to fight. I have spent a lifetime, this strong-ass woman I have conjured out of thin air, this voice that is a becoming, this shattered rules, the shattering of rules like breaking glass, this I don't care what you think of me in every tendril of hair, whipping on a cold afternoon as my pen inks the page, this lone 30 gull crying its indignation on a rainy afternoon at Ocean Beach in San Francisco. I am there with you. I am your resting bitch face. We are weathering this storm. I am the songs of your migrant ancestors and their thick-ass calves and striving exhalations. I am all that is pure and true. I am that Athena, that one, you know her, and I will not be silenced anymore or told what to think or who I am, that I am not good enough or that I am too damn much. Your brittle institutions are crumbling. The naysayers fall into churning rip currents, swallowed by the sands of time. The men who tried to take it from me, who excluded me, who removed me from my post, who wrote me off and replaced me with a token sexualized pretender who feigned at being a Greek. I am the true one and don't need to prove it. Let my voice be icicles that pierce you and obliterate the lie. I take my snake staff and my warrior owl and I shoot them into the big fat lie, the black hole into infinity. Like a weakening cancer, I will open this space.
Yeah!
I will open this space. Maybe I should end it there. I will open this space for you to jump through, sisters and brothers, my true ones only, and leave behind the bitch dogs and the hellhounds, the lie, the desolate and awful place, all the gray and decay and parched earth and dry, brittle branches like bones. These who have perpetuated the lie must stay here and eat the world that they have made. But we Athenians, we will wear our crowns, our bones unbroken, our heads unbowed. We have become Athena. Get up, rub those bruises, undo the tethers of your wings, let your hair fly into the wind unbound. We have become Athenians. Step aside while we straighten our crowns.
Yes.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. And I hope to come back.
Thank you. Hey, thank you.
Well, I didn't expect that. That was great. I love that. Woo. I don't think you should end it there. I think like just make it so you don't turn the page there. So there's a pause there. That was great. So I'm so glad that you came and we arranged this, and I'm happy to be here. I just wanted to say we're going to take a break, 5 minutes, something like that, and that this is the last one for this year. Some people don't know this because some people aren't on the Facebook and they don't get the email. So I've been saying it now. So we come back on the 15th of January, as they would say in Berlin. In America, they'll say January. But in Berlin, they say Januar. Januar. Anyway, so smoke them if you haven't. Only kidding. Just take a break. We'll be back in 5 minutes ish. Thank you so much. And see her and say hello to her. She's a beautiful, wonderful poet. Oh yeah. So here's the next thing. So you hit that. We're gonna do that.